name is Deborah, and this is my channel, Stitch the Stash. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your first time checking me out, I hope you enjoy. My channel is all about cross stitch, and today is Tuesday, December 31st, the last day of the year, the last day of this decade. Where has the time gone? It feels like it was just December this time last year, like it was yesterday. So I am back. I am sick, but since it is the end of the year and I have not had a video up in almost 2 months, I wanted to try to get some of my end of the year videos recorded and hopefully have one released today and then one tomorrow on New Year's Day. So this will not be a regular update. I figured since I'm down to the wire that the first video in January would be my next update video. But don't worry, you're going to see everything that I have been working on between this video and my next video, because today is my 2019 year in review. I'm going to go over what I had planned for this year, how that turned out. I'm going to show you all of my finishes, and then my next video will be my 2019 whip parade, even though I'm releasing it on New Year's Day. If I can get it recorded and edited in time, maybe it will release late tonight, but New Year's Day, January 2nd, the latest. Again, I've been sick since Christmas Eve, and my husband is now sick, even though he is still going to work. I had vacation planned, and this is how I've been spending my vacation. Sick, recovering, celebrating the holidays. I hope everyone had a great holiday with whatever you celebrate, and if you don't, I just hope you've been enjoying all your stitching time and that you are ready to go into 2020. We ended up having a very quiet Christmas. Like I said, I went to bed on Christmas Eve with not feeling right. My throat was bothering me, a little bit of a cough, and then I woke up on Christmas Day. I was full-blown sick. I guess we joke that I was on Santa's naughty list this year because I'm sick. But that's okay. I'm just thankful that I didn't get sick while I was still having to work. My vacation is not going how I planned. Excuse the mess behind me. This was one of my projects that I wanted to do before I went back to work on January 6th. I'm feeling just a tad bit better, but I still have lots of coughing and sniffles, and we will see how this goes. I might have to take multiple breaks. We'll see. But since I'm feeling just a tad bit better, I'm hoping to get some things accomplished, and all this organizing, purging, whatever I wanted to do on vacation, we'll just see how much I can actually accomplish before going back to work. So yes, I'm holding my wonderful little cat mom mug. I've had this for quite some time. I've had it for a couple months. I am not a Rae Dunn collector. However, this is a mug I had to have because, yes, I am a cat mom. My husband likes to drink out of this, and I should have gotten him the cat dad one, but that's okay. We'll share it. And for those of you who have been wondering how my kitties have been doing, they have been doing well. Chloe, who is my calico, she's been on medication for her stomach issues. If you follow me on Instagram, by the way, which is Stitch the Stash, you might have already heard about this, but we have been dealing with vomiting issues, issues with her ever since we brought her in from the outside, and we took her to a cat specialist, and we had an ultrasound done, and we got some answers. So she's been on anti-nausea and antacid medication 5 days a week for almost 2 months now. The first month she was doing much better, but still had the issue, so the vet said, well, let's try another month, and if you want to incorporate the special digestive food, we could try that. So for the second month, she's still on the medication, and we give her this special digestive food in the evenings and her regular shredded chicken in the mornings, and she seems to be doing okay. And then with Shanna, we also took her to the specialist because she has anxiety, aggressive tendencies towards Chloe, and we were trying to get into a peaceful household where they can just coexist. So we talked to him. We have her on the lowest dosage possible of a medication that treats this. And I can tell you, we have gone from 3 baby gates separating them to 2 baby gates separating them to no gates. And it is so nice to not have to step over those gates because we've been doing that for 2 years. They still have their hissing matches, but we're just letting them work it out. It's much better than what it was. Shanna was very, showed aggressive behavior. She didn't ever hurt Chloe, but she just, the tail puff out, the hissing and the growling, and then when she got frustrated, she turned around and take it out on us. So we're like, no more. So they are doing well. They're both sleeping. With Shanna's in the front room sleeping, and Chloe is in the bedroom next door sleeping. So I'm back here in the craft/office room. So that is the cat updates for anyone that has been asking and wondering. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be my 2019 in review video, so let's get ahead and get started. Okay, so in anticipation of making this video, I went ahead and rewatched my 2019 goals video, and just wanted to see what I had planned for the year, how things were going to go, what I wanted to accomplish, and I wanted to compare it to what actually happened. And I have to laugh because some of the things I planned and said in the video, I just sit here and chuckle because things went completely different this year. One of them being magical stitches just ruled my life this year. But let's go ahead and I wrote down what my goals were for 2019, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened with them. So my first goal was to stitch from stash. Yeah. When I heard myself say that, I just had a very good long laugh because stitching from stash did not happen this year. I went into it with a good heart, thinking I was going to do it, I was going to conquer this, I was going to stitch everything that I had, and then there were too many beautiful things that I had decided I wanted to stitch and wanted to kit up, so Stitch from the Stash did not happen. However, you notice in my past update videos, I have mentioned when what I would have gotten from a Stitch from Stash budget on all my finishes. So, yeah, that didn't go very well this year. Alright, so then my second goal was to start my first Hade, which is the Quick Stitch Lavender Roses. And I actually did start that. It was a new start. I had a couple false starts that made me very frustrated by the third time I started it. I was rocking and rolling with it. I got my groove. I figured out how I was going to go about parking and starting and stopping. But you'll see when I show you in my whip parade that I did not finish it or get even halfway close to being finished with it. I gave myself a 2-year finish on it. That's not going to happen. That's okay. So then the third goal I had was kitty litter. That was the Dimensions Gold kit. That is the kit that actually got me back into cross stitching back in 2017. I had decided that I didn't like stitching on the Ada and I wanted to restart on an even weave. And I actually restarted it on the even weave, but I haven't worked on it at all this year, with the exception of restarting it and putting in some stitches. And I'm actually thinking about ripping out what I've done and restarting it again because I'm doing half stitches and it calls for 5 strands of threads and I'm doing it on a 32 count and I feel like it's just way too full. So I'm probably going to rip that out and restart that again in 2020. Alright, so then my next goal was the Little Sheep Virtues by Little House Needleworks. I wanted to complete one a month. I have mentioned this before. I'm sharing the patterns with my sister because she wanted to stitch them too. So as I was finishing them, I was giving them to my sister to borrow. I actually have a total of 3 finished right now. I did not, I was not successful in the one a month. And right now, my sister has all the patterns, and when she's finished stitching them, she's going to give them back to me. So when she finishes them, she'll give them back to me. I just didn't want to hold her up anymore. And again, I didn't accomplish more than what I did because magical stitches. All right, my 5th goal was to work on the Brooks Books Publishing Wizard of Oz series and Alice in Wonderland series. And I believe each series has 12 characters, and I wanted to stitch one of each per month. I can tell you that did not happen. I did start 2 additional Alice in Wonderland. I have 3 Alice in Wonderlands going, but none of them are finished. And on the Wizard of Oz, I have 1 complete, which I believe made it into my 2018 whip braid. And I started the Yellow Brick Road of the 2nd character, so I didn't do well on that either. All right, number 6 was I'm working on the Stony Creek Santa Train stocking. I said I was going to work on that every Sunday this year. Julie, Kansas City Girl in Colorado World, had started last December stocking Sunday style, and that every Sunday we all would work on our stockings that we want to finish. And while my stocking has seen progress this year due to magical stitches, it was not worked on every Sunday. And I had shown you an owl stocking that I wanted to stitch for myself. Yeah, that didn't get started, and I'm actually found a new stocking that I want to do for myself, which is actually more me. All right, so then number 7 was complete a monthly calendar series, and I had chosen the Little House Needleworks monthly thread pack series. I was to stitch 1 a month. I can tell you, I do not have all 12 done. I believe I have, I have 3 complete with a 4th one in progress. It's okay. I'll continue on them next year. Then I had chosen a season series that I wanted to stitch. I had chosen the Cricket Collections, a spring, summer, autumn, and winter series. I started spring and have not finished it, and yeah, it will eventually. I'll get there. So then Stitch Mania. I didn't know if I was going to have 19 new starts or how I was going to handle Mania in 2019. And I actually am very happy with what I chose to do. I stitched on all of my existing 2018 Mania projects, and then anything that I had extra spaces for, I would start something new. And I had empty slots for 4 starts, and I think I only did 3 starts. So I'm happy with how my Mania turned out. And you can go back to old videos and when I talked about my Mania update and see how I did on that. So then I also wanted to stitch a Nora Corbett or a Mirabilia. I believe I had shown 3 or 4 that I had options on, and I actually did start Geranium by Nora Corbett, but I did not finish it this year. All right, so then the last thing I had discussed in my 2019 plans video was I had shown 11 patterns that I had set aside that I wanted to start in 2019, at least start them. All right, and I can tell you out of the 11 patterns, I started 3 out of the 11, and I finished 1. All right, that's okay. I still love everything that was on my list. I'm happy that I saw one from start to finish. I'm happy that I started a couple of more on the list. I was supposed to start another one on the list on Christmas Day, but being sick, I didn't have a Christmas Day start. That's okay. It will eventually get started in 2020. And then the last thing I had said in my video was, and I'm reading because I wrote it down, I said, don't let it stress you out if you don't make these goals. It's okay. And I am a very goal-driven individual. I work well with goals, but I did not meet any of these goals. I want to say the only successful goal I had was Stitch Mania. And that's okay. That's what goals are for. Just it's a guide, it's a plan of giving you direction. And I'm okay with that. So I had a little fun looking back and seeing what I had said and seeing what reality was, the plans versus reality. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you all of my finishes that I had this year. So what did I finish this year? I'm actually quite proud of myself because I kept track of how many whips I brought in from 2018 into 2019 to start. I kept track of how many starts I had, how many finishes I had, and out of those finishes, how many were from my 2018 projects and how many were from my 2019 projects. And so I carried over 28 whips from 2018 into 2019. I had only had 4 finishes in 2018 and I stitched the whole entire year. The difference between this year and last year was I'm a multi-crafter. I spent more time knitting in 2018. I spent more time doing some scrapbooking and some sewing. This year was predominantly ruled by cross stitch. On new starts, I had 40 new starts this year. You heard me correct. I had 40 new starts this year. And I'm okay. It's okay. And how many finishes did I have? I had 24 finishes. And I am ending this year with a total of 44 whips. And that number does not bother me. I thought when I hit 40 that it would bother me, and for whatever reason, having 44 whips does not bother me because I have a plan for next year. So out of my 24 finishes, I had 10 of those finishes were from 2018 starts. And then I had 14 finishes from my 2019 starts. I am quite pleased with my finish number. 24, could I have had more? Most likely, yes. But I credit all the finishes that I had to Magical Stitches this year, the Harry Potter counting stitching group on Facebook. I was really focused on that when I joined at the end of January, and it gave me direction and guidance of what projects to work on. And the further I got into the year, probably in like September, I decided, August, September, I decided, what, I need to try to make certain projects fit multiple prompts. And I got better at that. It helped. And, 24 finishes are not bad. And don't freak out because I have 44 whips. I'm okay with that. All right. All right. So those are my statistics of 2018, 2019 starts and finishes. All right. So let's go ahead and show you now my actual finishes. All right. On to my 24 finishes this year. There are a couple of finishes that I do not have in my possession, so I will insert a picture when I come to those. I am just going to show you the finish. I'm going to tell you the designer, the name of the pattern, when I finished it, but that's all the information I'm going to give. I'm not going to tell you the fabric. If you have any questions about any of these, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer that for you. I went over all the fabric in all my update videos, and I don't want this one to be a super long video, so I'll just give you the basic information. All right, so my first finish of 2019 happened on January 13th, and it was Kissing Cardinals, and it's out of a Just Cross Stitch Ornament magazine, and the design, it's in 2014 Ornament magazine, and the designer is Designs by Lisa. Super cute. All right, looking for a place to stick everything. All right, second finish of the year, which again, I don't have a picture because this is it right here. I participated in the Steotch Mystery Stitch Along in 2018. I see my door opening. And it's Shanna. Hi, Shanna. Shanna. Give me 1 second. All right, I managed to get her back out and shut her out. I guess she just didn't want to be alone anymore, even though she was sleeping. Anyway, all right, so the second finish this year was from the Steotch mystery stitch along from 2018. I was on a team. We had a team assignment to all stitch on the same project, and then you got points if you had managed to finish it, and then FFO it, blah 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 blah. We didn't finish in time, but what the design was individual. It was a New York skyline, and we made individual fobs, basically, and we chose which one. When you got it, you just picked whichever one that you wanted to stitch, and this is the one that I finished. We are still waiting on them to be, I think we had one team member that still had to stitch hers. I don't know if she ever did. And then we had one of our team members that was going to FFO them for us. Don't know if it'll ever happen, and that's okay. It was fun to participate. So that was my second finish, and that was on January 27th. My third finish was I Can Drive a Stick by Lizzie Kate, and I finished that on January 30th. This is the pattern that I made so many counting mistakes on that I could have stitched it 3 times. Yep. All right. My fourth finish was Love by Little House Needleworks. It's one of the Little Sheeps of Virtues, and I finished that on February 16th. Super cute. I'm stitching all 12 patterns on the same piece of fabric. My fifth finish was my first monthly sampler series. The monthly thread pack. It is January. Again, this is all by Little House Needleworks. January, and I finished this on February 22nd. Love it. All right. My sixth finish was, again, another monthly. It is February by Little House Needleworks, and I finished that on March 31st. And I did make changes. The outside border, which you see, is pink posy. That was actually supposed to be white, and all the hearts on the bottom were all supposed to be red. I alternated between red and the pink posy. I absolutely love how this one turned out. All right, finish number 7 was my third in the series of Little Sheep Virtues. It is Peace, and I finished that on April 1st. Sorry, I got lost in my notes. April 1st, I finished the third one. And that's as far as I got with the Little Sheep Virtues this year. That's okay. Then so that was my 7th finish. My 8th finish was Lizzie Kate Coming to Town, Santa 11. And I finished this on April 2nd. Super cute. I participated in the Snug Harbor Crafts stitch along. That started the day after Thanksgiving, or on Thanksgiving Day of 2018. Then my 9th finish for this year was the Stacy Nash Primitives Sewing Tray right here. Absolutely love how this turned out. And I finished this on May 19th. So I finished this during Stitch Mania. Love it. Then finish number 10 was Lizzie Kate Live, Laugh, Love. Absolutely love this one too. And I finished this on May 27th. Then finish number 11, which is an FFO, is Always You by Heart and Hand. I gave this to my husband for our anniversary present this year, and I finished this on June 23rd. Is that correct? June 23rd. Our anniversary was June 2nd. I'm a little confused because I know I gave him the unframed piece for our anniversary. But anyway, I finished it this year. Absolutely love it in this frame. All right. So then, finish number 12. Another piece that I don't have, it is Rose Garden by Blackbird Designs. Insert a picture here. It was my StitchCon Smalls Exchange this year. Absolutely loved it. It was the first time I stitched 1/1. Super happy with how that turned out. And I finished that. All right, I see. I finished that on June 23rd. I finished Always You on May 27th. So I did have it done in time for our anniversary. Confusion, confusion, confusion. All right. Then my next finished, number 13, was Think Spring by the Bay Needleart, and it's also FFO'd. Absolutely love how this turned out. I had finished her on July 4th. I took her to StitchCon with me, and this is what I worked on at StitchCon. Oh, love it. All right. So that's it for all my FFO'd finishes. I don't have any more. Then finish number 14 was Fa La La by Cottage Needleworks. Super cute. And I finished that on July 13th. Finish number 15 is Sophia by Summer House Stitchworks. And I finished her on August 22nd. Love her. Finish number 16 is a huge one. It is my Tribal Cat by White Willow Stitching. And I finished her on August 24th. Yep, because I finished Sophia on August 22nd, so this was August 24th, and this was a big finish for me. I love stitching on her so much. Finish number 17 was also Stacy Nash Primitives, and it's the Mary Bear Sampler, and this is the pin disc that I finished. And I did that on August 31st. Little teeny tiny one. Finish number 18 is With Thy Needle and Thread. It's the Wordplay series, and it is February is what I completed. And this is the only one out of this series that I've done so far. And I finished this on September 14th. This was a Stitch Mania piece from 2018 that I finished. Tribal Cat was Stitch Mania 2018 that I finished. I should have made note of that, but I forgot. All right. Then finish number 19 is Love One Another by Little House Needleworks. This was also a 2018 Mania, I remember for sure. And I finished this one on September 27th. Oh, so cute. Love it. Finish number 20, another big project, is I Want a Black Cat by Madame Chantilly. Oh, love stitching on this. And I finished this on October 12th. I love this cat. This cat is adorable. Finish number 21 is another monthly thread pack. It is July by Little House Needleworks. Yeah, I went from January, February to July because I needed it for a magical stitches assignment. And so there's that one. And I finished this one on October 19th. Finish number 22 is Alice's Mad Plant by Bendy Stitchy, Michelle Garrett. Oh, love it. I need to FFO her trivet styled because Michelle sent me a wonderful gift which included a trivet to finish this on, and it will be perfect. I just have not felt up to finishing anything, so hopefully soon in the new year I will. And I finished this one on October 19th also, so I had 2 finishes in one day. All right, so my last 2 finishes you have not seen because I have not made a video since November 3rd. So this was a start and a finish in, was it November? Yes. So I started this on November 17th and I finished it on November 11th, and the pattern is Share Laughter. Help if I showed it the right way. Share Laughter by My Big Toad Designs. This pattern was a birthday present to me from a very dear stitchy friend. She also gifted me this fabric, and I thought perfect. And then I did a full color conversion on this. I will tell you the fabric is a 32 count Joblin, and it's Under the Sea Fabrics in the color Daphne. And there's only 3 colors, and I know I used DMC 310. I used a Victorian motto on the green and a color and cotton on the pinky purple. And I love how it turned out. If you want to know the actual thread colors, ask me and I'll let you know in the comments. My last start and finish for the year, I started this on December 14th. I finished it on December 15th. It was a very quick stitch. It is a gift for a friend that I will see in the new year. And what is it? The pattern is Tartan ABCs. It's out of the World of Cross Stitch magazine, issue number 273. I stitched this on a scrap piece of 32 count Lugana in opalescent white, and the outside is stitched with the outline of the letter is stitched with a gold glisten gloss. You're not going to be able to see it, but I will stitch this into, well, I'll finish it into a little pillow ornament. Hopefully this weekend when I'm feeling better. All right, so that was all of my 24 finishes for this year. All right, so let's talk about 2020 goals. Sorry for the shaking. Shanna just jumped down from behind my computer. She is leaving. She might be back. All right, so 2020 plans. What am I planning for next year? First of all, I'm stitching from stash again. Yoo-hoo! I am going to definitely try really hard to stitch from stash. I am giving myself a $25 monthly budget to spend on however I like. I still have the monthly fabric and thread clubs coming that do not count against the stash budget. However, I did make changes for 2020. I'm still getting Under the Sea Fabrics monthly. It's no longer monthly. It's 2 months on, 1 month off. And then I still get the color and cotton, but you know I was getting 2 pieces every month, 1 neutral, 1 bright. And I have knocked it down to 1 piece a month, and I'm alternating between neutrals and brights. So every other month I'll get one or the other. And I'm still going to continue with the 3 thread clubs by Color and Cotton. I did, however, at the end of November, cancel my Victorian Motto monthly club. Why I love it. My goal next year is to kit from my stash as much as I possibly can, using the existing Victorian mottos and color and cottons that I have in my stash right now, and what I will continue to get from color and cotton. So yeah, and one of my reasonings to cancel my Victorian motto right now is because I wasn't I wasn't kidding from changing colors. Hello, find my words. I was not swapping out colors and patterns as much as I thought I would last, well, 2019, because we're not in 2020 yet. So, and her club is very easy to get into. So I figured if I eventually wanted to get back into it down the road, I could. With color and cotton, it's hit and miss. Sometimes she's been sold out. I know that she put the clubs back up on her website as available. I don't know how long that will last. So I love her threads. I love her fabrics. So I'm continuing to stay in those clubs. But since I'm already in those clubs prior to 2020, it doesn't count against my budget. So yes, I'm participating in Stitch from Stash as best as I possibly can next year. Yeah. All right. So my second plan is, I know this year everyone was doing the Stitch 9 challenge, which I believe Michelle, Farm Girl Stitcher, she started it and many people joined in, and basically it was to pick 9 of your whips that you wanted to finish by the end of the year. So what I decided to do is I picked 12 of my whips that I really would like to finish by the end of 2020. And the 12 projects I picked were Fall into Winter by Ships and Manor. I picked Through the Storms by Silver Creek Samplers. I have Witch by Lottie Da, which was my birthday start this year, and I want to have it finished before my birthday next year. Chock Full Harvest by Hands On Design. That was a my dear Stitchy friend's birthday start that I started with her, so I would like to finish that before her birthday next year so we can start something new together. Sunny Sunflower, which was by Cherished Stitches, which was my keepsake piece from StitchCon this year when I went to Keepsakes. And I wanted to come home with a memory piece, so that is to be finished. Pretty Little San Francisco by Stitch Rovia. I would like that one done because I have many more in the series that I would like to stitch. Ice Cats by Soda Stitch. So adorable. Needs to be done. Because I have many more other Soda Stitch patterns that I need to stitch. Then Geranium by Nora Corbett. She needs to be finished so I can start a new one in 2020. Then I want to finish Button Up by the Prairie Schooler. In 2018, Helen D on FlossTube, East Coast Crafter on IG, and Misty Purcell on FlossTube and IG. Started this, I think it was on Christmas Day last year was their start, and I joined in, and I have done very little on it, so I would like that done this 2020. Butterflies by Stitch Rovia. I started that for Mania 2018. It needs to be done in 2020. I love it. It needs to be finished. Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. This is my nemesis project. I also started it for Stitch Mania 2018. My plans last December was to stitch on it, I believe, every day in December. That didn't happen because last November I got sick, got a little better. Then in December I got sick again, and then I needed an emergency root canal. So my plans for December went out the door. So this year I had planned that I was going to do 30 minutes a day in the month of December. And I got through a day and a half, and then I just didn't get, I fell off the wagon with it. Simply because I'm not stitching at night like I was during the spring and summer. I'm just finding that with the winter and the coming home in the dark, my mood is like, little down. I'm tired. So I don't stitch at night like I used to. So, and I wasn't getting up early enough in the mornings to stitch the 30 minutes before work. I tried a couple of times and I was just too time pressed with getting ready for work. That's okay. It's on my, my Stitch 12 to complete next year because I need it to be done. And then finally, I put Santa train stocking on the list because I would like to have it finished by the end of next year because I want to stitch one for myself, and I don't want to take 20 years to stitch each. And what I'm going to do to help achieve that goal is I'm going to stitch on it every Sunday for at least 30 minutes. I can handle 30 minutes on a Sunday. Sundays tend to be my down day getting ready for the work day on Monday. So that's my stitch. My 12 projects that I chose to finish this year. All right, so groups. What Facebook challenge groups am I participating in 2020? You know that I participated in Magical Stitches Harry Potter this year. I am signed up for Magical Stitches next year, which is a Disney theme. I'm going to wait and see how I feel about that. I've already seen the yearly challenges, the extra credit for this month, and our first homework assignment that starts tomorrow came out. And with it being Harry Potter, I was super excited. I found it, because I love the book so much, love the movie so much, I found it easier to make my projects fit the prompts. This year it's Disney, and I'm reserving my judgment on it, whether or not how much I participated in 2020. I might just do the monthly extra credit. There's a couple of tasks that I can do. I might just do some of the yearly that I can use any project for. I don't know. I felt for the past month and a half that I'm a little burnt out on counting every single stitch. Yeah, so I'm a little burnt out on counting stitches during the past month and a half. And that's okay. I'll figure out, I know what worked for me this year, and I'll figure out what works for me next year. So, yes, I'm signed up, but I just don't know how much I'm going to participate in that. We will see. I did sign up for the Whip Go 2020. Jessie Marie. Jessie Marie does stuff on FlossTube. She does Whip Go, and she created a group for 2020 for anyone else who was interested in that. And I did sign up for that. I created my bingo board. I put the 12 projects I mentioned on it that I wanted to finish, and then I went through my whip list and added 12 more projects that would be nice to also have finished next year. So that is going to be my primary focus, is working on those whips throughout the year and see how much I can get done. We already had the first two numbers pulled for January, and I think I can definitely get one of those projects finished in January, and I'm excited to see where we go with it. And I rewarded myself with bingos, and every time I receive a bingo, I'm going to put $25 in an envelope and see how much I have at the end of the year, or use it during the year to kit up stuff or purchase things. And that money, I decided, will not count against my Stitch from Stash budget, because I earned that $25 by getting a bingo, and that means I have to finish 4 or 5 projects because there's a free space. So the diagonals and the middles bingos will only be 4 projects completed. So $25 a bingo, and then if I get a blackout, I couldn't come up with anything, so right now I'm just going to say I will be satisfied with finishing 24 projects on that list, because majority of them are big projects. All right. So that's WhipGo, and I'm also signed up for the Full Coverage Fanatics challenges. There's 2 challenges next year. One is the 2020 20 in 20 challenge, which is basically by the end of the year you will stitch 20,000 stitches in the same project. If you finish the project you're currently working on, you can choose a new one, but it has to be the same project throughout for all the stitches unless you finish it. And the other one is they're doing this park challenge, and there's different tiers of challenges, but it's visiting all the national parks in the US, and you have to stitch, I believe, 4,000 stitches per park, blah 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 blah. It's a lot of stitching. I'm planning on using my my Hade, my Quick Stitch Lavender Roses, and in hopes of getting it close to, if not finished, by the end of 2020, because I have other Hades I would like to start, and I won't do that until I finish this smaller one. All right, so those are the groups I'm planning on participating in 2020. All right, so my 4th plan is Stitch Mania 2020. I am planning on participating. I don't know what that will look like right now. I have, so let's see, 2, 4, I have 6 projects that are left over from 2018 and 2019. They are on my WhipGo board. They are going to be completed this year. So I'm going to see how many of those I can complete prior to May. And I don't know if I'll do like I did this year, was if I started it on, say, May 1st in 2018 or 2019, I'll stitch on that project that day. If I finish the project, say, for May 1st, I can start something new. That was what I did this year. I don't know if I'm going to do that next year. What I might do is allow myself 4 or 5, because I can't remember what day May 1st is on, but 1 new start a week. And they're going to be either magazine patterns, or I was thinking Mill Hills, because Mill Hills, I have a few in my stash, and I'd like to get some of those done. So I haven't decided yet, but once we get closer to Stitch Mania, I'll let you know. All right, so my 5th plan is planned new starts. I am allowing myself the minimum of these new starts. I'm participating in high tea starts. For those of you who do not know what that is the last Sunday of every month, you have a new start. I believe Caroline, who is off the grid Needlearts, I believe she started this, and I didn't start participating in it until September of this year. And I like the fact that, you know, every Sunday, or every last Sunday of every month, you can have a new start. So those are definitive. I'll have 12 of those. I'm going to have a New Year's new start. So tomorrow I'll have a new start. And then I also know that I'm going to have a Valentine's Day start. And then there's going to be my birthday start, and my dear Stitchy friend will be her birthday start. So that is 4 more starts. So that takes me up to 16. And then I reserved the right. I said I wanted to do this year. I had planned on a couple of new starts in September, and then I was originally planning 4 new starts in October, and then I was planning a Thanksgiving Day and a Christmas Day start. And that didn't happen this year just because it just didn't work out. So I'm reserving that I might do something special towards the fall and winter. So right now, 12 high teas, 2 birthdays, 1 Valentine's, and 1 New Year's Day start, and then whatever I decide for Mania and for October, December, and October, November, December. All right, now we're on to retreats. I went to 2 retreats this year. I went to StitchCon, and I went to the New Jersey FlossTube retreat, and I had so much fun. So in 2020, I'm doing 3 retreats. My first retreat will be towards the end of March. I am going to the Fancy Works retreat in Indiana. I'm super excited about that. Kathy Haberman from Hands On Design is one of the teachers, and I believe Janice Note from Noteworthy Needle is also a teacher. So I'm doing that retreat in March. I'm going back to StitchCon in June, and then I'm going to do the New Jersey FlossTubers retreat, which starts at the end of July into August this year. So I'm super excited to be doing the three new, oh well, not new retreats, but doing 3 retreats in 2020. I feel very lucky to be able to do that. All right, so then the last thing on my plans list, let me turn my paper over just to make sure. Yeah, last thing is my FlossTube videos. I would like to be more on a consistent schedule next year. I know that this past couple months, maybe even since September, my videos have been gone from 2 weeks apart to 3 weeks apart to now it's been 2 months. And there's reasons why I have not recorded a video in almost 2 months. And you know, again, it's life. It's how things are going. You know, I've had a lot going on with the cats this fall. That was stressful. I had a very hard time with the time change this year. I'm had a very hard time with losing the light, coming home in the dark. I just had a really hard time with that this year, and it affected my mood. It affected the lighting is a huge issue because we're in winter, and on the weekends, on Saturday is normally the day I record, and I would need to record between noon and 2 o'clock to have good light. And I generally don't have the house to myself until at least 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And by that time, I either lost my light or I was losing it. And I just it just affected me and mentally. And I just couldn't bring myself to put out, you know, videos with terrible lighting. Also, a lot of the weekends we had like dark, rainy weather, and I can't record in the rain at all because my videos will have no light, and I do have the overhead light on today, but I have good natural light. Even though we're a little overcast, I have good natural light coming in. So I would like to get on a more consistent schedule. And as of right now, I'm still planning every 2 weeks because I don't think I can handle doing a weekly video and working full time. If I had dedicated recording space where everything was set up, then that wouldn't be a problem. So that is what I'm going to try to do for 2020. I will continue with the Stitch With Me's. I know I only did 2 this past year, but I've had people say that they enjoy them. So I will continue to do a Stitch With Me video, and I'm hoping once a month. And then I'm thinking about, because I have a lot of goals next year for all my crafts, for cross stitching, for knitting, and for scrapbooking and sewing. So I want to focus a little bit. I want to be better at managing my leisure time, because you know, on the weekends I really only have a day and a half, because the first half of my weekend is spent cleaning and grocery shopping, and then you know, it's before you know it, and if I record a video, my day is shot. So that would leave me with 1 day. And I struggled with, what do I do? I'm participating in Magical Stitches. I have all this homework to finish, and I know that's me putting pressure on myself, but that's how I am. And I know it's not a competition, but I feel like I would let myself down just a little bit if I didn't do the best that I could do, because that's just who I am. And I'm learning I need to give myself grace, and it's okay. It's for fun, and I've enjoyed it. So I need to find a better balance next year for enjoying all of my hobbies with what limited time I have. So going back to knitting, I know I've shown knitting once in this video, and that video actually got a thumbs down, and I'm not sure why. And I have not included knitting since then. So I'm thinking, and I would like to share my knitting with you. I put it on Instagram recently, and I have had people, comment and like, and I have one special project that someone really, really wanted to see. So I'm thinking that maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, I might do a dedicated knitting video. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm curious to see if anyone would be interested in seeing that. I know people who come to watch cross stitch, that's all they want to see. They don't want to see hauls. They don't want to see anything other than cross stitch and what you've been working on. And I don't want to put knitting in that video if people aren't going to like it. But I know there are plenty of cross stitchers who are also knitters and that might be interested in seeing what I'm working on. So I'm considering doing once a month or once a quarter, because I'm a fast knitter, but I won't have as much progress to share as I would with cross stitching every 2 weeks. So that's what I'm thinking. All right, so that is all of my plans for 2020. I forgot to mention Christmas, because we're talking about me making videos and wanting to be more consistent and having lighting issues. And my husband gave me for Christmas, he gave me some studio lighting to help with that. I had made a comment about how I'm time restricted on making my videos with the daylight hours in the fall and winter, and for Christmas he surprised me with studio lighting, so that's why I'm also hoping to get more on a consistent schedule, because lighting won't be an issue anymore. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. I'm super happy with everything I accomplished in 2019, and I look forward to whatever 2020 has in store for me. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank each and every single one of you for supporting me this year, for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm looking forward to even more interaction with you in 2020. And if there's anything that you are interested in seeing from me in 2020, let me know. I'm open to almost anything. And if I can make it happen, I will. So with that, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful, happy, healthy new year. And the next time I come back, I will have my 2019 whip parade for you. So we'll see everything that I have going into 2020 to work on. So with that, happy stitching, everyone. Bye.